Potentially the most pathetic thing to ever occur in the Marvel Rivals community just happened this week, as there was a recent tournament called the Deadpool Creator Cup to celebrate the recent release of Deadpool in Rivals. The tournament included a $40,000 prize pool, but the problem begins with one particular team that was a part of the tournament. And on that team, you have the player Kingsman265, and then the women who openly disparaged him for having the audacity to want to win the tournament. Those women, those streamers being CC, Zazza, and to a lesser extent, Zazza. And now this whole situation is causing memes across the internet about how these women just set back other women decades in the gaming industry due to their pathetic behavior. Spoiler alert, they're now attempting to play victim in the most typical and expected way possible. However, it's not going well for them because everyone can see through their manipulation tactics and no one is falling for it. But let me give you the rest of the context now, in as brief as a way as possible, because to be quite frank, there's just way too much to unpack here, and I don't have time for all that, nor would I even want to spend time making a video unpacking all of that stuff, because, for example, it would require going through hours of VODs and a giant Google Doc, walls of text of these people playing victim as mentioned, etc., etc. So I'm just going to stick to trying to give this like a TLDR approach at least as much as possible, so to speak. So here's what happened. Deadpool has recently been released in Marvel Rivals, and obviously this was a character that a lot of people wanted to have included, and so to celebrate his release into the game, we have the Deadpool Creator Cup tournament that occurred on January 18th, which takes us to this team participating in the tournament, including the aforementioned Kingsman265, CC, Zazza, and Zazza. Now, the problem all starts when Zazza attempts to one-trick Black Widow in this tournament. Now, if you don't play Rivals and you don't know about Black Widow, let me explain this. Black Widow has consistently been one of the worst characters in the game. And so, not only is this character generally just bad, but it's also a character that requires really good aim. But even if you have really good aim, it's still a bad character. You'd still be better off playing other characters that you can utilize your good aim with. Nevertheless, Zazza attempts to one trick, which means only play that character, Black Widow, in this tournament. It doesn't go so well. And remember what I said about needing good aim? Well, Zazza also throughout this tournament seems to have consistently had around 200 ping, which even if you do have good aim, that 200 ping is going to be a huge problem. On top of, as mentioned, Black Widow still just being a bad character. And so, needless to say, this team wasn't really working out so well. And Kingsman265, who many argued was essentially carrying the whole team the best he could, was asking if Zazza would switch off Black Widow to help make a better team comp, right? The whole Black Widow thing, it really wasn't working out so well. But CC and Zazza, and as mentioned to a lesser extent, Zazza, they weren't having this. They decided to insult Kingsman, to mock him, and he mentioned how, like, this tournament, he was going to try to win to put the money towards paying off his college debt. And what did these women do in response? They started insulting Kingsman. They told him to suck it up. They called him a loser. They insulted his social skills. They said he was being toxic and trying to like micromanage the team. For example, in this clip, we have Kingsman warning his team about their current composition and how Black Widow, Zazza just going to get blown up. By the way, you can see the 173 MS in this video too. And so he tries to warn them. He points out the obvious. He's like, Widow, Zazza is just going to get blown up as mentioned. And they dismiss this. Then you know what happens? Spidey just completely destroys Widow effortlly.
They are going to explode Zazza in 0.2 seconds and then go on our supports.
They are not.
They are.
That's not how it works.
That is how it works.
The next day,
Spidey's over there. And Daredevil. They're both there together.
Daredevil no defense.
They're both here. They're both here.
They're both here. They're both here. Yeah, obviously. That's what Kingsman literally said. He literally warned you guys what they're going to do. And I don't even know why they were disagreeing with him. In the clip that you heard right before we saw Spidey destroy Black Widow, Zazza and these other people were like, that's not how it works. And Kingsman's take about this wasn't even a hot take. You could literally have like low elo players knowing the same thing, which is, hey, Black Widow is susceptible to being dived. Yes, she can do her little kick stun thing, but like that's not great. Again, this is a bad character that is pretty easy to dive, right? Especially if you're like a high-skilled Spider-Man, which was the context of that clip. And for whatever reason, they were like in denial about it. There was no good reason for them to try to be a contrarian here. It's just a bizarre thing, really. I don't know why they handled it like this, but there is a wholesome ending here. And as you guys know, this ended up going terribly for CC, for Zazza, and these other people. And so that is just one example. Again, I'm not going to run through the entire tournament VOD of this, but I like looked up some more gameplay here, and even from this random part that I skipped to, you could see in this screenshot, we have Hits Can, who again is Kingsman265, and he's 19-6 as Magic. Meanwhile, we have Zazza on Widow, who's 7-7. It's also a great example of how good Kingsman, who again is playing as Hitscan, funny because it's Magic, but I digress. Kingsman as Hitscan is 19-6. He has the most elims in the entire match as of this screenshot being taken on a team that's completely falling apart versus an actual good team. So that is to say that, yeah, Kingsman is a good player. So round of applause to bro. Apparently it's even worse than that too. Like, I'm not going to go digging for this screenshot. I don't even know how long it would take to find this random part, but like, look at this. Tweet says, bro, Kingsman was close to dropping 40 limbs that same game while Zazza was 0-5 on her character, Widow, that she had to play when he knew what was going to happen. And so now we'll skip ahead a little bit. We'll fast forward a bit. Now that you know what was going on in this tournament, how good Kingsman was doing and how terrible Zazza was doing, and how Zazza refused to switch. Even, like, it's not even just that Zazza was doing bad, but also the ping stuff too. Like, just a ridiculous, entitled, egotistical thing for Zazza to do. And then refusing to switch, and the other team members acting like Kingsman was the problem. It's just insanely pathetic behavior from these people. And we start seeing these alleged Discord leaks of CC having said, I'm pretty sure he, Kingsman, spent all 20 years of his life inside playing video games, which is why he lacks social skills. I mentioned that there was something about these people insulting his social skills before, but here's like the actual alleged Discord screenshot of that. And it's crazy that she's actually insulting his social skills when he explained everything perfectly and he was 100% justified and 100% correct about what he said. But she and these other people on the team who are in denial about this and acted extremely toxic and pathetic, they're going to insult his lack of social skills? No, 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 no. They are the ones who lack social skills. Clearly. I'm going to take it even further. I saw that these women came from the Overwatch community, and this is like a recurring theme. First of all, I know not all Overwatch players are like this, but it has been a recurring theme that I've noticed that a lot of the most toxic people in the Rivals community actually came over from Overwatch. In which I will say, lady, go back to Overwatch. This Rivals thing ain't working out for you. And so this whole situation, which is already bad enough, really comes to a crazy conclusion when Kingsman's team actually gets him kicked from the tournament. The dude who's the most competent on the team and correct about everything he said and is actually just trying to win because, again, he wants to win this tournament to pay off his college debt. He gets kicked. These women get him kicked from the tournament, and they try to smear his name on the internet. But everyone could see that they were actually in the wrong. Oh, it gets even more pathetic from there, because then Zazza, actually I forget if it's CC or Zazza, I'll double check this in a second. One of them has their boyfriend make like a Google Doc, makes like a Google Doc trying to expose Kingsman, and again, everyone's like, dude, Kingsman's in the right. Like, what are these people doing? We can see in this screenshot, someone calls out CC, says, got your best player kicked from the team. Goodbye, 40K. Hello, good vibes. Because that's a play on how earlier in the situation, Kingsman's team was saying that he's being too toxic and they just care about good vibes. What kind of nonsense is that? Oh my gosh, you're in a tournament. Get a grip. And CC says, 3K, and we've got better players in vibes now. So there is a little bit of conflicting information regarding the prize pool. Some people say it was a 40K prize pool. Other people say it was an 18K prize pool, and this would get divided 6 ways to equate to 3K per person. Nevertheless, Kingsman did emphasize that 3K would still be a huge amount of money to go towards his college tuition that he's trying to pay off. So this doesn't diminish his concerns and his desire to win the tournament. And here we have a clip of Zazza asking CC about the Google Doc that they were going to try to respond to Kingsman with. And it's hilarious that they think this clip is like a good look. This actually makes them all look so bad.
Cece, did you see the document Cap was putting together about it all? Rage bait for more views? I'm not a rage baiter, bro. I'm not a rage baiter. He tweeted it? Yeah. Yeah, he's being very, like, straightforward about everything and putting all the evidence in there, too. He's actually... Cap has a lot of experience writing good documents like that, so... W Cap. The goat, bro.
Okay, first of all, trying to flex... He's good at writing Google Docs. That's got to be one of the cringiest things I've ever heard. Who says that? Yeah, bro's really good at writing Google Docs. Dub goat. Like, are you kidding me? That's what I mean. How'd they think that was a good look? And then putting the evidence in the Google Doc. The evidence of what? How terrible you guys look? Obviously, they were trying to spin it a certain way against Kingsman, and that didn't go well as mentioned. And so when she mentions, did you see the Google Doc that Cap was putting together? That seems to be referencing this person, Kaplunk, who is apparently her, Zazza's boyfriend. As if it wasn't cringy enough, you're getting your boyfriend to write some Google Doc for you? You want to know how this went? I mean, I already spoiled it. I shouldn't even ask that. I apologize. I'm losing some brain cells covering this, like so many things that we cover, but I digress. Here we are. So the amusement, the comedic factor makes it worth it. I say that, but I am enjoying making this video. Don't get me wrong, because look at this. I scroll down slightly, and Kaplunk, who was supposed to be this mastermind, this Google Doc mastermind that's going to sway public opinion against Kingsman, no one buys it, and he ends up protecting his whole account. This dude ran away into protected mode. And then we have Zazza, as I showed way earlier in the beginning of the video, just writing walls of text trying to play victim here, and then locking the responses so no one can reply. So one dude's going in protected mode, she's locking her responses, writing a bunch of nonsense that gets community noted. For example, OP Zazza did not intend on winning or helping Kingsman as she repeatedly continued to play Widow on high ping while berating Kingsman for being asked to switch. She was also on stream viewing the document with her boyfriend and approved it. Then there's CC writing her damage control wall of text as well, similarly also locking the responses, and also similarly getting a community note here that reads, even after the initial situation calmed down, CC continued to bully Kingsman and speak ill of him across social media. CC has a history of attacking other players and talking trash. While we're not going to read all of these walls of text, let me point out this specific part of CC's failed damage control. I was having a panic attack and I just started experiencing them, so in my freak out I said Kingsman lacks social skills because he spends his time playing video games inside. Seriously? Oh, I was having a panic attack, that's why I said that. Dude, no one's going to believe this. That's ridiculous. This is always the case with people like this. They say the worst stuff, and then when they get rightfully criticized for it and public opinion is against them, they do anything they can to play victim. Oh, I was having a panic attack. Oh, I was going through a difficult time. Yeah, we've all heard that before. And then Zazza says, also, just to leave a note here, I've limited the comments because people commenting were already trying to be misogynistic or racist as soon as I posted this. These were the only two comments criticizing her post there. These were not misogynistic, these were not racist. They simply say, said a whole lot of nothing, and yo, you could have just swapped and all of this would not have happened. The community note that she got on this also points that out, saying Zazza Stack and others associated with the mistreatment of Kingsman have often limited comments whenever it is obvious the majority will give criticism, not due to racism or sexism. Zazza has already shown to be untrustworthy due to her admitted approval of the doc by Cap. But there is still Luciasa, which takes us here. Luciasa, who not only switched up on Kingsman after he helped her climb from constant losses to Celestial, but then also proceeded to make fun of him, and later compared him and all his supporters to Israel. I'm genuinely praying for y'all right now because this PR is horrendous, and this clip of Luciasa being included.
A genuine question. Like, seriously, answer this, even if you support Kingsman, whatever. Support Kingsman, like it's Israel. Anyways, whatever you have in your head.
I have no idea what she was getting at with the Israel comparison. I think she was just trying to be witty or something. Obviously, it didn't work. But as that other person mentioned, the context here too is especially messed up. Like, apparently Kingsman had played with her before and carried her to Celestial, but then she's very quick to just like become a rat, total rat move, and just like backstab the dude, thinking that the public opinion was going to be against him at first, siding with CC and Zazza and these other people. You know, oh, let's side with the group and go against this one guy, Kingsman, even though Kingsman is not in the wrong and also had literally spent time, a significant amount of time, helping her. And so now we've covered most of the important details, but we have one important detail left, and that is the wholesome ending. Although keep in mind, obviously, we have still skipped a lot of context. I'm trying to keep this somewhat of a TLDR video as mentioned, and I am starting to run out of time here. But nevertheless, this is the scope of the situation and the wholesome conclusion, which is Marvel Rivals streamer Kingsman, who was kicked from a 40k tournament, had the most viewers for the game on Twitch after the drama went viral. Kingsman265 has reportedly made back the money that he lost out on through subs and donations. On top of the massive success that he's getting on Twitch after this whole situation went viral, as that tweet mentioned, he also made a 1 hour and 16 minute video on his YouTube channel that has almost 1 million views. That's certainly going to bring him a lot of income. So everything ended up being a giant win for Kingsman. I mean, this kind of worked out the best it possibly could have for the dude. And as mentioned, I think that was all the main stuff, so I'll leave it here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and if you like Rivals content, definitely consider checking out Kingsman265 over on Twitch and YouTube.com right here. And thank you all once again for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one.